to another powerful episode of AIBiz. I'm your host Avik, and today's episode is going to be a fascinating one because we are bringing together the big forces which is reshaping our world, which is AI, construction, and the entrepreneurship. So, dear listeners, our guest today is Grant Fuellenbach. So, welcome to the show, Grant.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, before uh, we delve deep into the discussion, I'll quickly love to introduce you with Grant. So, uh, Grant knows that what it's like to be in the trenches. Like, after spending over a decade in sales and operations for the construction technology companies, he saw a pattern like repeat itself over and over, like builders and remodelers, masters of their craft, being crushed by the chaos. So, pipelines that never stabilized, projects that will ran differently, owners who were brilliant but burning out, right? So, Grant realized the issue wasn't skill or grit, it was the systems. So that's why he founded GoFirst Consulting, where he helps professional builders escape the feast of, or I'd say, uh, a famine circle. So streamline operations and actually achieve owner freedom. And the kicker is like he blends proven operational systems with the power of AI to make it real. So today we are diving into like how AI and the smarter systems can transform not just the businesses but the men who run them. So wait to wait, let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was quite the intro.
Thank you. So Grant, like uh you have worked with the builders for the years and you saw that the same problems on repeat. So in your words, like why do so many talented entrepreneurs end up stuck in the chaos despite of being great at their craft?
That's a great question, and I think it just kind of goes back to this concept of you don't know what you don't know. And so many builders and remodelers, and really just a lot of entrepreneurs in construction as a whole, fail to kind of understand the complexities that go into running a business, let alone running a successful business. And so, these guys, they're tremendous craftsmen. They're phenomenal at their trade. And so because of that, they simply think that, there's a big need for what they can do, but they fail to understand just how complicated it is in terms of, finding new clients, finding new projects, retaining those projects, uh, finding subcontractors, even just the complexities that go into AEC or construction businesses nowadays. And that's really where, we've identified, like you said, this pretty big problem of there's so many contractors and construction businesses out there that are really struggling to get a handhold on their back end, their systems, even at something as simple as, making their systems scalable and repeatable through SOP.
True. And okay, like and when um you first point this out to a business owner, uh, what's usually their reaction? I mean, a relief, resistance, or both? What?
Mhm. Yeah. So it's it's a little bit, it can oftentimes be both. On one hand, there's kind of, some builders, some business owners have a false confidence when it comes to how they perceive their systems and how they perceive their own business. They might say something like, "Oh, we already have some systems in place, or we already have a CRM, or whatever. We're already using AI," just as an example. Um, but on the other end, it's people who haven't even acknowledged or haven't even identified that it is a big issue, that they simply don't know what they don't know, and they are experiencing the downslide of not getting the clients that they need, or not retaining the employees or the subs that they need. And so generally those are the two variants of a conversation that we'll have. One in which people have kind of that false confidence, and we need to kind of dive into the numbers or the assessment of, hey, here's actually what's going on, not what you think is going on. And then the other side of that coin is people who are looking for help on identifying and solving these big issues that they're experiencing.
Got it. Mhm. I mean, that resonates because so many men listening right now, uh, I'd say aren't lacking hard work, but they are lacking the structure, and sometimes admitting that is the hardest part also. So, yep, yep. Uh, and also, like you have said, that the real issue is not the grid, but it's the systems. So, if you can explain, like, what you mean by complete operational backbone, like, why it's such a game changer for the builders.
Yeah, absolutely. What we mean by operational backbone is, like, if you're a builder or remodeler and you're struggling with client acquisition or just lead generation, oftentimes you'll look for a marketing agency who can help you, get more traffic through the door. And more often than not, that comes in the way of like more ad spend, ad campaigns. Maybe they're helping you write some copy for your website so you rank higher on Google, or helping you with your Google business listing. Generally, that is a great problem to solve, but it's a band-aid for a much bigger issue. Getting more leads in the door doesn't help you sell more. It helps you ultimately maybe have more conversations, but it's not helping you actually find the right ideal clients, have the right type of conversation, have the right type of sales process, right? It's a band-aid on an issue that is significantly larger. And so that's kind of why we do what we do, is we help install essentially like operating systems that work together to help overcome those greater issues. Instead of just band-aiding it, we're actually um, you know, healing or fixing the issue, and then we're enhancing the systems or the back end ops to actually make sure that that wound never occurs again.
Got it. Understood. And how does this AI plug into that backbone um, in a way that feels practical rather than futuristic fluff?
Yeah. So AI kind of plays a role in everything that we do. Um, we orient off of a three-step process. So the first of that is it's a diagnostic. It takes and the diagnostic itself is actually operated by an AI model that basically helps identify significant risks and gaps in a construction business's current operating system. So they're everything from their tech stack to their org chart, their employee headcount, their gross profit, profit, gross revenue, all of those different components basically gets wrapped up into a diagnostic. And from there, we use AI to really pinpoint exactly what the biggest risks are for, getting that company to where they want to be. Um, and then the second step is what we call a map. It's a mutual action plan. And what we do there is we install 6 modules and each one of those modules has different AI components in it. The way that I like to think about it is step one is basically a Carfax. So we're getting a diagnostic of how your business is running today, what components you have in your engine, what type of fuel you're feeding it, who's driving it, all of that, right? And step two is basically we're slowly integrating more advanced components into that engine to make it run faster, more efficient, to get you to make sure that that engine is going to get you where you need to be. Um,
Mm.
and that's really where AI plays a tremendous role for us. So taking that diagnostic and identifying what parts need to be replaced first and how.
Exactly. Yeah. Hmm. Amazing. And I mean, yeah, I love that because AI can feel intimidating, but when you uh, show like how it solves the real headaches, suddenly it's not the hype, it's help, right? So, uh, yeah, definitely. And if I also talk about like the owner burnout, right? So, why do you think that so many entrepreneurs, especially in the construction, end up being the hero and the bottleneck of their own companies?
Yeah, it's just talking about burnout. It's
Mhm.
because in construction, if you're the owner operator of a business and you've started it because you're exceptionally good at what you do,
Mhm.
it's hard to put the tools down or to, even instill trust in other parts of your team to accomplish the same quality of work that you can do. Um, and it's kind of a double-edged sword though, because what ends up happening is if you can't install the systems or the trust to build a team that excels in the same way that you do, you're actually shooting yourself in both feet because you're not able to grow the business and work on the business. You're always constantly working in it.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. And also, like when you help an owner step out of that trap, uh, how does their personal life, like the mental health, the relationships, even masculinity shift?
Oh yeah, tremendously. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard to document in terms of like just financial figures, but every part of that business actually is impacted when you can successfully do that because you're moving the person from just an owner operator on the tools to someone who can think more strategically, someone who can go to can allocate time to go to conferences, to network, to learn new practices instead of working on every project that comes into their database. And then from a, personal standpoint, of course, there's tremendous benefit of allowing them to spend more time with their family, to learn new things that fall outside of just that one skill set, to you know, to to help them spend more time with the things that are actually the most important to them.
Mm, exactly, exactly. So, like, um, I mean, that actually lands because a lot of men measure their worth by how much they personally do, not by the freedom they build, but uh, that's a graph. So, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, AI is, I would say it's a buzzword everywhere, right? Like, so from your experience, I mean, what do you think? Like, where do entrepreneurs most misunderstand, like, what AI can and can't do for their business?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest, not even issue, but maybe misunderstanding is some businesses will actually, pay for a ChatGPT subscription for all of their employees or a Claude subscription or, any commercially available LLM. But they don't really have a firm understanding of the benefits that that LLM is actually providing to their employees because they haven't really standardized or implemented the LLM in a way that actually is tracked, it's standardized, it's scalable. It's basically just giving their employees another tool for their tool belt without teaching them the best practices of how to use that or even the depth of how to use the tool.
Hmm. So, like, what's an example of AI like saving up builder hours or maybe the dollars in a way that
Yeah.
made them say like, okay, this is real.
Yeah, the great example question, and I would say one of the easiest things that you can do as a business owner, not even just a builder, but it's to create systems that actually scale. So one easy thing to do or more intuitive way is to start recording workflows, right? That can be don't even necessarily need to be handed off right now, but it could be, documenting a workflow of how to run a P&L report or how to post on social media, how to get into your social profiles, create a post, create a carousel and publish it at the right time. Anything that requires a workflow like that, AI can really help condense into a SOP or a standard operating procedure, whether it's, via video or an app like Supered or really just putting or even a Notebook LM, putting your SOPs into a database like Notebook. Um, but ultimately, starting to get consistent with how you are documenting and teaching workflows is a tremendous win because 99% of builders, 99% of business owners, I would say, have a hard time doing that or fail to do that effectively.
Got it. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, that makes AI relatable. I mean, it's not about the robots replacing us, but it's about the tools empowering us to do the real work that matters.
Mhm.
So that's amazing. Yeah, yeah. And so looking forward, like, what's your vision for the builders and the remodelers who embrace AI and the strong systems? Like, uh, what does their life and the business look like 5 years from now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it fluctuates quite a bit because no business is alike. I could have two different conversations with the uh, business owners of the same company, and they might align on wanting to turn that company into a franchise or a sellable business or something, even just a business that they can almost hand off to their kids. And those all those businesses are so different because not only of the endpoint being different or the end goal being different, but where they're currently at, their employee count, what motivates their current team. There's so many variables that come into play that ultimately and another use case of AI is, of course, helping you understand all of those variables so you can put together a plan in place that can get you to where you want to be 5 years from now and that you can constantly iterate on. Um, but, it's without having a system of record, it's almost impossible to help visualize what your business will look like 5 years from now.
Mm, true, exactly. Oh, wow, lovely, amazing. I mean, that's really, really powerful because uh, that's the kind of vision that pulls us forward. Like it's not just about building the projects, but it's all about building the freedom, stability, and the legacy. So that's amazing. Grant, thank you so much for bringing clarity to a conversation that's, I would say, that's often clouded by either hype or burnout. So, and what you have shared today, it reminds us that entrepreneurship, especially in the construction, doesn't have to be the chaos. It can be the clarity. So for all the listeners, here's the takeaway, right? The systems aren't restrictive, they are liberating. AI is not a threat, it's an ally. And also, uh, discipline is not the punishment, it's the bridge to freedom. So if you're a builder, remodeler, or any entrepreneur who is stuck in the cycle of feast and famine, then go back and replay Grant's insights. The life you want doesn't come from doing more, it comes from building smarter. So, Grant, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm the only Grant Fuellenbach on LinkedIn. So feel free to connect me with me there or at our website, gofirstconsulting.com. I'll be sure to respond as quickly as I can.
Perfect, perfect, lovely. So great. So, dear listeners, I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And with this hope, until next time, this is Avik and signing off from AIBiz. So stay disciplined, embrace innovation, and remember, build systems, build freedom. So thank you so much.
Thank you.